ProSeries Professional Tax, Top Enhancements for 2019. The 2019 ProSeries Professional Tax program has a number of great enhancements designed to make our customers more productive in the overall workflow. Here's a snapshot of some of these changes for 2019. E-filing locked tax returns. For several years now, we've had a feature in ProSeries where you can lock a tax return. Locking isn't like password protection. You can still open the return, but it's read-only. The data cannot be changed. So you now are able to lock tax returns so no one can change them, and then be able to e-file locked tax returns. We've really upgraded our undo and redo feature, so if you're on a screen and you make some inadvertent entries, you can undo those particular entries screen by screen. We now also provide date control on letters and invoices. And what that means, you can decide which date will display on client letters and invoices, whether you want it to reflect the e-file date or any date of your choice, so you're in total control of all of those documents. Multiple client letters. We've added 18 new standard client letters to the program, including things like a standard engagement letter, amended letter, Spanish client letter, and privacy statement for your 1040 clients. For business clients, you can access a standard letter plus a standard engagement letter and a privacy statement. We've also made a number of enhancements to our e-signature tool. E-signature is your ability to send your client a quick email so that they can digitally sign their 8879s. So let's take a look at some of these changes in product. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up 2019 ProSeries. And the first one is, here's Kevin Jones. Let's say I've just worked on Kevin's return. Maybe I've e-filed it, maybe I haven't, but I want to lock it so that no one goes in and makes any inadvertent changes, or that any program updates do not change additional or prior calculations in the program. So the way you lock a return is very simple. Top of the screen, under Tools, say I want to lock the return, select Lock, and it says, do you want to continue? Say yes. The return now shows as locked, and what you'll notice on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a column with a padlock. That's how you know Kevin's return is locked. Now I can still open it, but I just can't make any changes to it. How to unlock it? Same thing. Tools, unlock clients, click OK. Now let's select the client first. Go ahead and click Tools, Unlock Client. Okay, so that's how we lock and unlock. But again, the feature is you can lock a return, but you can still e-file the tax return. That was a big request from customers. Let's talk about the undo feature. So you've ever been in a return and realize you're in the wrong tax return, right? That happens sometimes. Or maybe you just hit the space bar on an entry and you don't know the original value. So let's open Kevin Jones's tax return to the Federal Information Worksheet. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the last name of Jones to my last name, Reinard, and change it to Joe Reinard. So I've just changed two fields. How would I go about putting those back to the way they were? Simply go to the top of the screen under the Edit menu and say I want to undo. That undoes the Kevin, Edit, Undo, and then it puts it back to Jones. Now the only caveat to this is as soon as you leave the screen, you will not have the ability to undo the things that you've done on that screen. So provided you're still on the same screen, you can undo any changes for that particular transaction. Okay. The last one I wanted to talk a little bit about was electronic signatures. So let's go ahead and go back to the main screen. And I've shown this in another video, but it's worth repeating some of the changes for 2019. So where we do e-signature is in the home base in the upper left of the screen. I'm going to switch from 1040 individual to the e-file center. The e-file center is where you do all of your transmitting, where you track the e-file status, and it's also where we include the e-signature component. If I want to get an e-signature on Kevin Jones, I simply click Request. Now what it does first is it verifies there are no errors in Kevin's return and that there's a valid email address. Once that check is done, it's going to pop up a box and say it's ready to be transmitted. So I only have a federal return for Kevin. If he had 8 or so different states, they would all be listed and the boxes would be checked so we could send the state equivalent 8879. We also do automatically include a watermarked client copy of the return. That way you can deliver that to the client in the same PDF where they're going to sign their 8879, so they actually have something to review. But I'm going to uncheck this just for the purpose of this demonstration and hit continue. Now, a couple of changes. Last year, 2018, in ProSeries, you could only send your client a request to sign the 8879. This year, any document can be sent, whether it's an engagement letter, any other document can be sent. So in this example right now, I've only got the signature doc going to Kevin, but if I wanted to, I could attach an engagement letter, W-9s, or simply browse for the document I want. You'll then have the ability to place the signature block anywhere you want on that document. Another big change for 2019 is you can also send requests for e-signature for your business return. So it's not just 1040 anymore. It's 1040 wide open, and business returns, whether it's the signature docs or any other document, can be transmitted this way. Then hit next. What we get here is Kevin, his email, an email message. This is the base message that we give you. If you want to change it, go ahead and change it, and then click Save as Template. So we'll use that message across all your clients. Hit next. This is also really cool, where we allow you to send reminders. So instead of you nagging the client to sign these documents, we'll do the nagging for you. If the client doesn't respond, let's say within 24 hours, maybe you want to set your reminder to every 1 day, and we'll go ahead and send them an email every day to remind them to do it. Then hit next. Now this is the final summary. What documents are you sending? Who's the recipient? The reminders, and then I just click send and fire off the document to the client. Now, one other big change for 2019 is we've incorporated what we call the e-signature dashboard. So if I go to the top of the screen, I click e-signature dashboard, this is what I'm going to see here. This will list every client you've sent an e-signature request to, and it tracks the status of that client. So you'll see here, status, this person failed authentication. If it was signed, it would say signed. If it was signed by maybe one spouse or the other, it would say need additional signature. So you have complete control over knowing exactly what's going on across your entire client base using this new improved e-signature dashboard. So those are some of the changes for 2019. There were a number of other things that we did, of course, keeping up with tax law and all of the changes to QBI, but some really, really good functionality that was highly requested from customers, and I hope you agree these are some really fantastic changes to 2019 ProSeries. Thank you.